Test, test, test. Hey, can y'all hear that music? I'm trying to get a few things done here while the music plays. That's some beer drinking music. I got this old Coke from Burger King. Man, I want to turn that music up. I want to dance. Who wants to dance? I gotta figure out how to turn it off. There we go. Trying to figure out how to turn it off. Okay, how's everybody doing? I was just bored. I just thought I'd get on here. I haven't done a live stream in forever. And I have no agenda, no plans, no nothing. I just got on here and thought I'd say hi and talk to everybody. And I'm going to turn this phone off. Oh, that's Kerry Arnold. I got a new website coming up. He's ready for an interview. Heck yeah, Kerry. I don't know if you're watching this live stream or not, but I'll do anything for you, brother. Says he's got a lot of stories. Okay, well that sounds good to me. All right, I'm a little distracted here. I'm gonna turn this. I'm not very techy. Hey, look at this. Watch this camera. I think it'll follow me. Oh, I'm faking it out. It's going that way. Oh, it's got to go back this way. Isn't that cool? Hey, how's everybody doing? I just wanted to get on here and just say hi. See if anybody had any questions. I'll answer the big question of the last few weeks. Is yes, I'm working on Steve Lilly. Steve Lilly is going to have a his own podcast, and I'm working on that. You all know, you may have heard me say in my podcast that I ran out of work this Friday. I ran out of work around 10 p.m. last Friday, and I've got one or two little things to do on that job. I'll probably do them tomorrow. They'll take about an hour, and then it'll come back from approval. I'll have to scrub it up and get it into the shop. That'll probably, depending on how bad they butcher my work up, it could take a day, it could take a week. But yeah, I don't have anything to do, and I'm kind of liking it. It's like I got up this morning, I drank coffee, and yes, I have a couple of cigarettes with my coffee in the morning, but I don't normally smoke the rest of the day. You know, cigarettes are just good with coffee, and they're good with beer. Cigarettes are good with beer, and beer tastes the best at the horse track. That's a fact. That's a FAK fact right there. All right, so what are you guys doing out there? Yes, Steve Lilly is coming. So I've answered that question. I know somebody's going to ask, and I may sound like I'm annoyed with that. I'm not. I just I have to answer it a lot of times, and people comment, and I just skip over the "Where's Steve Lilly?" and I'm not being a jackass about it. I just can't answer that question 100 times. But the truth is, I'm so glad that you guys like that series. I just really don't know what to say about it. It's and it's so fun to write, and I have been writing, and I'm gonna yeah, Anthony, I've got two D.A. Roberts books to do, and I'm about 80% finished with Bobby Clark's third installment of the White Mountain Bigfoot, and he's mad at me, and I don't blame him. I'm 6 months late on that job on that book, and I don't blame him for being mad at me. And but I'm going to get it done. I've got like I said, I'm about 80% done. I've got about 2.5 or 3 days left on it, and I'll be able to submit it to him. Then I'm jumping right to DA's books. And Jack LaFountain just gave me a contract to do the third installment of the Ed Landry series. It's called, I can't remember what series they were in, but they're the Blood Moon, and can't remember the title of the second one, but this one is the Voodoo Moon, and it's a real interesting mystery. And it involves dogmen, and werewolves, and rougarous, and all of that stuff. So, and I tell you, if there was anything, and I don't want to just talk about me, I want to get with y'all here in just a minute. But if there was anything I could do, it's so relaxing to do those audio books that if I could make a living at it, I would do it all the time. I really would. It's the most relaxing thing. And it's kind of it's like you're performing kind of like an actor, which I don't do very well, but you're performing like you're an actor and no one's around to watch you. You're totally alone and you can kind of create the scenes in your head and narrate it like you think it should be, which is usually off in my mind, but I try. So, okay, that's enough about me. Uh, unless someone has some questions, because I don't really have a plan for this. Let me see if Carrie. Yep, somebody texted me back here. I'm gonna tell him I'm on live now. I just invited Carrie Arnold to come on. How how random is that? I get started with a live feed and Carrie Arnold. I hadn't heard from him in a couple of weeks, and um, I'm sorry. I know I seem distracted, but okay. There's some questions. Cam, what is your favorite Bigfoot story so far? I don't know. I don't know that I have a favorite. There are so many that I've done, and honestly, the Bigfoot stories uh, begin to kind of run together in my mind. I bet I've done 500 Bigfoot stories, and that's why I'm kind of branching out and doing different things right now because, um, yeah, I'll just tell you, I got burnt out on Bigfoot. I still do Bigfoot. There's always a Bigfoot story in almost every podcast, but I just get burnt out on it. And the people who are real hardcore Bigfoot people are rude and nasty, and I just got tired of all that, and so I started doing other stories. Now, I'm not going to quit doing Bigfoot stories. That's not what I'm saying. But and everybody who watches this channel and comments is so nice, so nice. All those other people have gone away, and they don't. They're either blocked or they've just gone away because he's not telling real Bigfoot stories anymore. He doesn't vet his stories, blah blah blah, and they come up with some reason to to just hate people who are having fun. That's really what they do. They just can't stand it when people are having fun. So, to answer your question, political foolishness, I don't really have a favorite story. There are some good ones in the lineup though, but all of them are really good. I mean, they're all interesting to me. Um, let's see. The comment thing is going kind of fast here. Steve Lilly TV series. Well, wouldn't that be cool? Andy Jones asked, "When's the next Steve Lilly story coming out?" I've talked about that. You can go back and rewatch it or watch some of my previous videos when I talk about that. But it's coming. He's going to have his own podcast. It's nothing but Steve Lilly stories. And once I get it launched, probably in September, I'll be posting a Steve Lilly story at the max every 2 weeks, and sometimes they'll come even more quickerer than that. Let me see here if Carrie answered me. Okay, Carrie says he'll get on. So I'm gonna send him a link. If you guys will just be patient with me. I gotta figure out how to do this now. Invite. There we go. Copy to clipboard. Now I'll go to my mail. Bigfoot Odyssey. Paste. There we go. All right, I just sent Carrie an invite. He's going to get on here and he's got some good news. He's got some news that I don't even know about. He's going to tell you all about it. Um, so someone says, "Don't let the trolls bother you." They're not trolls. The people I'm talking about are not trolls. They're hardcore Bigfoot people, and they are Bigfoot is their religion, and they can't help it. It's just in their blood, and they have no other life. That's the only thing they can do. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with some of these. How about the bus project? Got a barbecue grill on it yet? My school buses are gone. Those were actually my brother's school buses, and they've been parked there for I bet they've been there for 10 years. And it is so nice to drive out my driveway and not have those two school buses there. But that's his property up there, and he can put on his property whatever he wants. And so but the school buses are gone, and he gave them to a guy. He bought those school buses, and they gutted them, and they put beds in them and furniture in them and couches, and they used to drive them to hey, Carrie, hang tight, I'll get with you in just a minute. They used to drive them to Talladega and go to the NASCAR races, and there'd be a bunch of them piling those school buses, and that's where they'd sleep, in the school buses at Talladega. And I think they went to Bristol maybe once or twice. I don't know. I didn't live here then, and he uh, he hasn't mentioned what I'm trying to read. Comments now. Crystal asked, "Do you do narration for any audiobooks?" Yes, I've got about 10 audiobooks out there on Audible. If you have an Audible account, just go in the Audible search bar and search for Cameron Buckner, and all the books that I've narrated will come up. Some of them are pretty good books. Some of them aren't that great of books. Some of the narration is the first ones I did are just horrible, but I've tried to get better as time goes on. And let's see. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna look see if there's any questions that just jump out at me. Defus, you're right. Not all hardcore Bigfoot lovers are nasty like the smell of Bigfoot. We just love hearing from others and their experiences. See, now he's not one of them. He's not one of those guys. And But there are some that are just horrible. I could show you emails, and I've got most of them I delete. I just delete because they're so silly. But a few of them I've actually gotten screenshots of, and then I delete them, and I've got a file with some of them in there. And someday, if I ever have time, I'll read some of those to y'all. And you will not believe what these people say to me. And what's funny is I'm just a guy out here having fun telling stories. I'm not in the Bigfoot uh quest. I just love the stories. I don't care if Bigfoot is real or not. I don't care what people believe about Bigfoot. That's why we do all kind of stories from I guess all the way from the woo end to the what would you call the flesh and bones end, maybe the fundamental Bigfootists. But but Defus, you're right. Not all Bigfoot people who are interested in Bigfoot are jerks. And I would think as long as they know where I stand, they would uh, be fine with me. But they can't. And if they don't like it, they can just go away. But no, they have to say something. They have to send me an email. They have to tell me what a horrible person I am for reading stories and stuff like that. So okay, let's see, Brenda. Mr. Buckner, how often do you do the bike rides where you show the historical spots in your area? I absolutely love seeing your area. Well, I don't, excuse me, I don't think I've ever done, I've thought about that. Like there are some things around here. I ride a motorcycle about 3 or 4 times a week between 50 and 100 miles just to kind of blow off steam. And I go places. Like there's old cemeteries. Old cemeteries are interesting, and these are some of these are Civil War cemeteries, and I'd love to stop there, take a camera, and just kind of walk around and show you and talk to you and just show you, what we have here in North Mississippi. We have Civil War battlefields. We have Bryce Crossroads. There was a battle at Corinth. There's Shiloh, which is right up north, right across the Tennessee state line, which is probably, if not the most casualty battle in the whole Civil War. And it's a sad place to go to know that all those young men died there. So to answer your question, Brenda, I don't. I ride my bike a lot, and but I don't really stop. But I could do that, but I don't know that it would fit with the channel because it's kind of a story channel. And so I don't know if people would like that or not. Leanne, Leanne, my friend from North Mississippi, she lives up here with me. She lives over closer to Memphis. She's talking about the shirts that we have for Teespring. She's at the conference. She wore the North American Skunk Ape shirt, and she got this blue color, and it looks so the color is unbelievable, and the way the print is on the back of the shirt is phenomenal, and it looks great up against that blue. Um, and for some reason, the Spring store has disappeared from my YouTube channel. I was on a live chat with them today trying to figure out what's going on. And they also owe me money. They owe me a lot of money, and they haven't paid me in about almost 30 days. And I'm normally, when you request a payout with them, you get money deposited in your account within uh at least a week, but it's been almost 30 days. And I'm asking the guy, hey, what's the status of my payout on this? I mean, it's never much. It's not 200 or 300 bucks is the max. But um, anyway, Leanne wore that shirt, and there was another guy there who had the maroon color, and he had the something is out there print on the back, and it looked fantastic. I mean, the colors are spectacular. Um, let's see here. I'll find one more question that I'm gonna bring Carrie in here. Michael Evans says he likes listening to the podcast while he's in the tractor doing field work. Keep up the good work. Oh man, those guys on the tractors and up in the trucks driving all night and people on trips and stuff. Those are who I think about when I do these podcasts. I think, oh, I hope they're liking this. I don't think of the people who are sitting around the table, or, people like me drinking coffee in the morning in the dark, listening to podcasts like I do. I think of the truckers and the farmers and the people who are on long extended things that want to hear, that like to hear things like that. So Leanne said I side spit. That's what I should do. Okay. All right. We'll get back to questions in a minute. Let me get Carrie in here. He's been waiting for about 15 minutes. There he is. Carrie, I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Hey, has it been that long? I don't think it has.
It feels like it. Once I get talking, man, I just
well, it doesn't matter to me because I'm listening anyway. So
okay. Hey, and so Carrie's a real serious Bigfoot guy, but he's not an asshole. He's a really nice guy, and he understands what I do, and he doesn't give me any crap about it. And although I think he may have once or twice and gone, man, you know, that story was just kind of way out there. And I'm like, I know, but it's a good story anyway. So anyway,
well, it's not like you can vet these things. People say, well,
right.
Do you vet your stories? How are you going to do that?
Right.
It's a story. Someone told it. You thought it was interesting. Whether it's real or not, it is on them. It's not on you.
That's right. Yeah. So it's like I have no responsibility in this. I just tell them. But some of the real hardcore people think that you should only tell stories that they believe are true. That's what they think.
Well, you know, there's a lot of commercial indoctrination in this, and all indoctrination means is that you're accepting beliefs uncritically.
Right.
And once you start to become more critical of the subject and get a little bit more grounded in it, then you begin to see the truth. I think there's a lot of overlay in this, and it's been this way for so long that the infrasound and the cloaking and the portals, you know, things. And I'm not saying these things are not true. They could be. I've never seen any good evidence for them. And I'm really looking.
Right.
I'm really looking for these things. What I've seen is natural. Everything I've seen and experienced has been natural. That's not to say these things don't exist, but because we have picked up EMF, high levels, 400 milligauss. You can go to your house with an EMF detector, a meter, to your breaker box, and you'll get 2 or 3. I'm talking about in the middle of the woods, 300, 400 milligauss, which does the same thing. People talk about infrasound. It's the exact same thing. You feel sick. You feel like you've been watched. You're missing time, hearing voices, mind speak, seeing lights, orbs, hallucinating. EMF does these things to you. So to me, there's a logical answer and an explanation for these things going on. I'm not saying it's not paranormal, but to me, that's lazy.
Yeah.
That's a lazy way of thinking. Anyway.
Well, no, that's interesting. You're talking, and this is what I think about you every time we talk. Number one, you think of these things and you're able to put them together and sort them out and filter them out in common sense terms. You don't just take what somebody says and then apply that to everything. In other words, if you hear, you know, Bigfoot social media channel A say this, that everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, this is this is what happened in this incident. This is, do you understand what I'm saying? People just they just follow whoever says something outrageous. So that's number one. You're able to filter these things out and then look at them in a pragmatic way and say, that's not right. That doesn't make any sense at all. And you say it. You'll say it in your podcast. You'll say it in your videos. And number two, you will say it directly to that person's face. That's one of the things I respect about you the most. Carrie is one of these guys, and I'm not trying to fluff your feathers here. I'm just saying.
Yes, you are. I
am.
I'm so big. I'm so huge. I'm so much bigger than you.
Well, that doesn't have anything to do with it. But what I'll do is, if somebody confronts me, I may kind of passively come at them in a podcast, which is really kind of weak because, but they would
It
never
is.
walk up to my face and say it. So if they're going to insult me virtually, I'm going to insult them back.
Why
But
respond? Why
but
respond?
you will. You'll
Why
be
become that? You're becoming. You're letting them define you when you start
well.
responding to those things.
I don't do it all the time. It's fairly rare. But you will have people on your podcast and you will tell them, I don't think what you're saying is right. You've
Well,
told me
we
a
have
couple.
to look. We've got to defend a point of view.
Yeah.
And when things start becoming suggestive, with no, you're not showing me anything. You're telling me these things. You're suggesting that there's Sasquatch tracks that end in the middle of a field somewhere. I've never seen good evidence for that. I've heard it so many times, but I've
Yeah.
never seen someone show me. Why isn't that something you take a picture of? Tracks ending right in the middle of a field. No, you get these stories secondhand, these things, these facts, quote unquote. But the closest thing I saw was sent to me, and it was about 10 feet from the edge of a tree line where this thing could have just jumped right over in there, no problem. There was no real investigation going on up in there. So it's just a one example of the subject, as it were. We've got to be more diligent. We've got to look to ourselves, especially those that have seen the thing. You've got to look to yourself as being someone who's responsible for helping.
Yeah.
Bring your story out. However you do it, send it to Cam. Come and tell it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to look to yourself as someone, because no one else is going to do it. Just you. You've seen it. You know. You're the one that needs to come forward. So send your story. Write it out. If you don't want to be the one to put your name in it, because it's understandable. There are so many people. This subject is still just taboo enough that putting your name and your persona out there could be detrimental to you. We understand that. Call yourself someone else, but put your story out there. What happened to you?
Yeah.
This is history, especially YouTube. You know what YouTube is? It's recorded history.
It's archives. That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And who knows? EMP or something could wipe it all out forever.
Yeah,
but,
no, you're not. That's true.
But that's true. So the point of me saying that was that Carrie's channel, for those of you guys who are watching and don't know, or who will watch this live stream, is Bigfoot Odyssey, and he will shoot you straight. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's not going to, and he's been straight up with me on different things and different people, and he, he's actually gives me good advice sometimes on YouTube and different things like metadata and stuff like that that really sparks my interest in those things and makes me want to kind of dig in and find them. But Bigfoot Odyssey has something new going on here, and that's what Carrie's going to talk about. You want to just take it from the top and explain to folks what's going on?
I got with Mark Zasky, Crypto Reality, and we came together and we created Crypto Odyssey, which is just Crypto Reality and Bigfoot Odyssey put together. And we've got a website, cryptoodyssey.us. It's almost ready. It's like a day away. And our first film on there, usually me and Linda and someone else will travel somewhere, shoot someone's Odyssey, their story. And Odyssey to us is just a journey dotted with notable experiences. So we looked for people that had experiences going on that were ongoing or had them for years around their house. That, to me, those were going to be the most convincing. So that's where we went. If we're going to take our time to do this, let's do it right. Let's find really credible people and tell their story. And so that's what we did. Linda and I did 13 of them before she got sick, wasn't able to do it anymore. And so I've continued on with Brad and then incorporating Mark. What we've done is we're still doing the same Odyssey we've always done. But on top of that, we stay at the place and do a 3-day investigation. So what we get there goes on the website. But you don't just get that. You get a lot of behind the scenes. You get something that I do that's called cuss words. So I go through the whole thing, and every time there's a cuss word, I get everything before and after it and give you the context. But that's all you get. You get that sentence and like what the bleep is going on here? Something like that. But that's the extra stuff you get with the website. It's $3.29. And the reason we did that is so we could keep doing it.
So the website will be live by at the latest Sunday or Monday, you think?
Yeah, no, this week for sure. We're having issues with the merchant. That's why it's $3.29. We end up like $2.20 or $2.30 of that because of everyone we have to pay to go through this process.
Right.
We're using Vimeo to stream. PayPal is who we're going through, and all those people they charge. So it's to me it's just something extra. If you want to support us, you can go there and get something for it. And it's a lot of stuff, but if you'll get the Odyssey for free, just like you always have. You'll still get the story, but the investigation that we did on the back of it, if you want to go watch that, then it's $3.29, and we appreciate the help.
$3.29 per month.
Just $3.29 for the video. It's a rental. It's a 72-hour rental.
Oh, okay.
And we thought about the download of it, and we've been through this before with the downloads. What usually happens is if you can download it, then you can share it with 30,000 people.
Right.
It just gets shared around. So if you do a rental, that's each person gets 72 hours to watch it.
Right.
So it was better for us protecting our content and the way we're presenting it. But YouTube is still, you're going to get a longer version on YouTube. It's going to be for free. It's going to be the story of what these people have gone through over the years, their Odyssey, essentially. But us staying there for 2-3 days, one was 2, one was 3 days, the last 2 we did, is what we experienced there and what we got. And if you want that extra, then we appreciate the help.
Well, that's a good idea. That's real interesting. Now, this is the first I've heard about all this. This is a big project.
It is. We're $45,000 deep in it right now. With equipment and everything. So it's not about getting rich. I hope I do. I hope 1 million people watch it.
I hope you do too.
Be for real.
Yeah.
But as long as we can get enough to pay for the trips, we're going to keep doing it. We have to. No one else is doing this. No one else is telling the story, is doing anything to be more convincing to the public, as it were. Right. We need that. We need more people paying attention to either what's going on in the community or the woods, period. That's the real idea.
Right.
It's awareness. That's a game we can win. We can't prove these things are out there. It doesn't. If we get 4K footage of them running down the pipeline, it's not going to prove a damn thing. But if we get something that's a little more convincing, and if the story does that, if the narrative comes to you and does that, or the images do that for you, we have both there for you.
Right.
Then we're that much further in the subject. We need more people doing this.
Have you launched the YouTube channel?
Oh, yeah. So it's Bigfoot Odyssey.
Well, Bigfoot Odyssey, but is this thing going to have its own YouTube channel, or is it all going to be on?
Maybe eventually we'll take what used to be the Shutter, which you promoted for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
We'll probably turn that into it just because it has an infrastructure. And still do stories there, but yeah, eventually it'll go to Crypto Odyssey YouTube channel. But for now, we're just using our collective channels to promote the website.
Yeah.
And you can go there. You'll get the same thing you always got with us. What you always got on YouTube, the story from one end to the other, and everything they're experienced, all their evidence, whoever it is. You'll get all those things regardless. But what we did extra this time was ask Crypto Reality Mark Zaski to come and show us, hey, is there Sasquatch in this area? And we stay there for 2-3 days and wear ourselves out, film the entire time. The last one, Arkansas, oh my God. I heard whoops. I've heard people talk about whoops. for 15 years. I heard them. It's the first time in my life I heard whoop, whoop. Not
that's
far
crazy.
away.
Yeah.
Crazy. Everything there. We heard a tree get pushed down. Yeah, that film's going to be, that's the next one coming out. I got Crypto Reality, their Odyssey, plus the film that we just showed of the investigation we did there for 5 days over a 6-week period. But the Arkansas one is next. You'll get the Arkansas Odyssey, Pam and Paul, what they've gone through, which is an absolute odyssey. It's been 5 years of the strangest things and actual visual sightings. You'll hear these people talk about them, where they were. And then the investigation that Mark and I did for 3 days in this place. And it's the most activity I've ever experienced that I was aware of anyway. Nuts stuff. So that'll be out within the month.
What part of Arkansas were y'all in?
Northeast is about as close as I'm comfortable giving away. In the foothills of the Ozarks.
Kind of
very hilly, very, very hilly. We were fortunate to have 2 people that have had a real story, that have been through this for 5 years at this point, from building their house on this 90-acre plot. And Pam and Paul were very inviting. They had no problem with us coming in. We sat down inside for over 2 hours, telling their story of everything they had gone through. And then of every Odyssey I'd ever done, which is 13 in 9 different states over a 4-year period, the most I had done was the one before, which was 9. I sit and write down notes during the interview, things we want to film when we go out. 9 things. That was Mark Copeland, Oklahoma, episode 13. This one, there were 23. I had filled up the entire book with things to go, and they had a side by side for the back seat. So they just drove us to the places things happened, told us about them, put all that stuff, and that's what you're going to get in the film.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and then we stayed for 3 days and had our own experiences, and those were epic. Tree getting pushed down, first time that ever happened to me. I heard a tree. I'm talking about a tree I couldn't hug all the way around. I'm not a small guy. I couldn't put my arms around it. It was a tree that big, and it just crashed right. I mean, within 200 yards of us.
Roots up.
Yes, one of those, like it was pushed.
Oh man!
But it was a specific circumstance. Pam, who they live there, she had a pool. She keeps getting in her pool every day. Something happens, knocks, and she had a visual sighting. 40 yards. He was standing there, and no telling how many times he had watched her from there, and she didn't see him. But she just happened to see him. And she's looking at this thing, and it's she can see the whole thing 40 yards away from her pool. And something was telling her, just don't look at it. Don't look at it. So she didn't. And she didn't look at it any more than she had already. It was too late. I mean, the damage was done as far as I'm concerned. And while she was telling that story, inside and outside where it happened, she broke down. And I'm telling you, I'm like Barbara Walters. That's the 3rd time I've made people cry already in a row. So I'm getting, yeah. But telling that and seeing it, and then, but that's the thing. It's the seeing it. It's the knowing.
Right.
It completely changes things. And she didn't get in her swing anymore. She didn't go out anymore. There were so many things about what she was going through with fear and anger at whoever is out there actively helping to keep these things hidden. I don't know who it is. I believe it's got to be somebody, because people run over these things, they shoot them, and then they just disappear. But anyway, their story is absolutely epic. And the things we went through, we had her get in her pool while we set cameras up. And while she was in her pool, she was skimming the top with a net and hit it over the side, and a tree fell. I mean, a big one.
So when is this going to be out?
I'm still putting together the first one, our episode 14, which is, part of the new series, the Odyssey for Crypto Reality. I'm halfway through it, and it's going to be a few more days. I'm sick, if you can't tell, so I can't narrate right now. So it's going to be a few more days before I can even get back on it. And then then it's
I'll volunteer. I love being in your videos.
Yeah, no, hey, look, if we could do that, actually. Write them down.
Just little parts. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I like doing yours and Neoma's. And if anybody else needs a voice in a video or something, I'd love doing that stuff. So
there's not many better than yours.
Oh, sure. No, that's not what I'm saying. I just love doing it.
True.
I don't know why I like doing it. It's so stupid, but I just, for some weird reason, I really like doing this. And I've started using this webcam and just reading this stuff cold. And when I mess up, I'll splice, I'll cut the part out. And so a lot of my videos the last month or so are just me sitting here reading them. And I thought I would never do that. But anyway, what I'm getting at is what I do is so much easier than you. So I could conceivably do a podcast a day. I mean, if I was willing to spend that kind of time on it, there's no way you're going to put out a video even once a week. Now you do your live streams. I know you do that, you and Danielle, and but these documentaries take a lot of time. They take a tremendous amount of time.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of pride in it, though. The pride is in who else is out there doing it. Please, someone else do this. Do these things. Take the time. The only reason I do them is because I can. I have the means and the opportunity and the interest, as it were, if you want to call it interest. That's the only reason I do it. Because it feels wrong not to do it, having all these reasons to do it.
Yeah, you can't do this, what I do or what you do, unless you really enjoy it. I mean, after one or two, you're done with it. You're burned out, and and so, and that's why I think it's cool. I'm changing things up. You're changing things up. You've teamed up with Mark, and you're always doing different things in your live streams, and I think that's cool. The drawing live streams and the different guests you have on, and now the different angles you're looking at with your documentaries is awesome. And so that's great.
Thank you. Well, again, that goes on everyone that's watching this right now, that's had an experience, that's seen something, that's on the fence about coming forward with their story. You have a responsibility, because we can't study these things. All we have is you. All we have is the person that's had the experience.
Yeah.
We're doing our best to try and catch them on camera and get close to them and figure them out. But it's such a mountainous task.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
we need the people that are watching this that have had the experiences to come forward. Simple as that.
And in one way, I think I'm almost in this way, I'm glad I haven't had an experience, because I mean, look what it's I'm not talking about the bad stuff that you went through, or
it's awful.
But you're just consumed with it, man. You cannot let up on this. You
can't. As much as I've tried in 15 years, it's only gotten worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And I have tried, but it's with you. It's like, this is how I equate it. It's like holding water cupped in your hands. You're trying to hold it back. You just can't do it. It's going to drip out somewhere.
It's going. Yep.
So when you try to hold down these things that have happened to you, and I guarantee you, every person watching this can look back to some lived experience that they can't explain. Whether they think it's paranormal or Sasquatch or whatever, there's a reason they're watching this.
Yeah.
And that's it. You try to hold that in, it's going to come out in some unhealthy way.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me. Anxiety was the worst, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know. No one had any information.
Yeah.
Thank God for Sasquatch Chronicles that started it all.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for mentioning that here on Dixie Cryptid, but
No, that's fine. That's fine.
thank God for Dixie Cryptid. Telling
No,
these stories, getting these things out there, and getting people paying attention. That's all it takes, is someone to pay
Yeah.
attention to the woods when you're out there. If you're paying attention and these things happen, then you may go there. But if you're not, you're just going to write it off. I did it for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Wes Germer sent me an email. I didn't even know he knew who I was. And I get this email out of the blue. And it said, Sasquatch Chronicles. It said, hey, I watched a few of your podcasts. I think you're doing a really good job. I wanted to let you know. And at the bottom, he said, Wes. And I looked at it and then I put it away and I thought, somebody's trolling me because there's no way he knows who I am.
Oh, yeah.
And
he knows you.
so later in the day, I ran across that email again. I was sitting on the porch looking at my phone and I said, Wes Germer? I just said Wes Germer with a question mark. And I sent an email back. And almost immediately it came back. He goes, yeah, Wes Germer, Sasquatch Chronicles. And I said, well, okay. I just was making sure I wasn't getting trolled. And thanks for the email. It means a lot coming from you. And I told him that he kind of paved the way for the rest of us. I mean, he was one of the first who had a big presence, and he still does. His podcast still does. And so
2.5 million downloads a month. Yeah, he does all right. He does okay.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, so now I don't I'm fine with talking about that. And then there's some people that I've talked to and they have problems with him. And I don't know what the problems are, but I don't care. I don't want to get mixed up in all that. And
sure.
I want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we try our best. We get lambasted all the time. And I'm just like, anyone that's creating competition where none should be, that's just insecure. I'm sorry. That there should be no competition in this at all. There's plenty of room. There's so much room for so much more. I wish more people would get involved. Do something.
Yeah.
Have a voice. Yeah. If you have the time and the interest and the means to do it, it doesn't take much.
And Cryptid's Canada, Leslie's in the comment section now. She's got a
Leslie's awesome,
channel.
man. Love Leslie.
She's got the prettiest voice. I just could just sit there and listen to her voice and go, oh man, she just sounds so good.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
And then there's Nance and Neoma and there's a lot of females in this, and they do a great job. And but yeah, Leslie, and I'm gonna have her on live sometime. Her and I we keep missing each other in emails for some reason. But well, Carrie, that's awesome, and thanks for coming on. And
yeah, you bet, man. Thanks for having me.
Telling us all about that. And so before we go, give everybody the website address. And
cryptoodyssey.us is the website. It should be up in the next day or so. And you'll be able to check out our first film there. It's a 5-day investigation we did in South Florida. I'm still working on that Odyssey, but you can go and watch that film there. We just premiered it on Bigfoot Odyssey for our members. And it's we're proud of it. It's a lot of work we put in over a lot of time, and some of the images in there are going to grab you for sure.
All right, I'm trying to put this in the comment section. Cryptoodyssey.us.
Yeah, it's not up yet. Like I said, we're having issues with our merchant. As soon as we get that worked out, it's through Vimeo, so it should be good streaming as long as you make sure you put your settings in 1080p. You're responsible for doing that. Make sure you're in 1080p when you're on YouTube or anywhere, because they default you to like 360.
CRYPOO
PTO crypto.
CRYPTO crypto, right?
Odyssey ODYSSEY .us. I'll send you the link. You can come back and post it.
All right, you guys can copy and paste that off my comment I just made. And it's just going to YouTube, so we're not on Facebook tonight.
I appreciate the help very much.
Well, we'll do this again. Maybe when you launch the Arkansas
Yeah,
film,
that's a good 3 weeks out. Yeah.
then maybe we can do this again. And
Okay.
and the reason is because a lot of the people that watch my or listen to my podcast are not in the Bigfoot world. They just like good stories, but
Right.
they might very, very well be interested in this. And so if they don't follow all these Bigfoot channels and stuff, and they just follow the, you know, the audiobook type style
Right.
podcast, then they can get a little taste of that. Maybe we can get a little trailer or something to play in front of the.
Yeah, I've got several. I can probably send you.
Are you in you in Mississippi, or you in Texas, or what are you
I'm in
doing?
Texas right now. I'm in my office in Texas for another 9 days. I've been here 9 days. I got 9 more.
Wow. All right. Stay safe. Thanks for coming on with me.
Thank you, brother.
All right. I'm going to go back and
See ya.
answer some questions. See you, brother.
All right.
Bye. Okay. Kerry Arnold. Kerry's such a nice guy. He's always been a good friend to me, and we always get along. We've met in different places, and I've been on some interviews with him to where when he goes to interview people, and you don't know I'm there, but I'm kind of in the background and just watching and hanging out and listening and trying to get a feel for what's going on. And he's just a good guy. And let me tell you, uh he really is consumed, and I think Mark Zaspie is too, and that whole crew. They are just consumed with getting this information out. And I don't know that I would be. I don't know that unless I had an experience. So okay, cryptoodyssey.us. It's a new website. It's going to be a pay site, but you can see, you know, the meat of the videos. But if you want to see more and support them by renting, you know, some of the director's cuts of their documentaries, then you can go there, but it'll be up next week. All right. So we got 417 people still in here. How long have we've been on just a little under an hour? And I didn't have any of this planned. Hey, DA, what's going on, man? What's going on? DA sent me a message like a month and a half ago and says, hey, would you give me a call next week? And then like 3 weeks later, I came across that message again, and I called him and I left him a message, and then he sent me a message back, and he goes, hey, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I haven't heard from him. And it's like me and Diego, we go back and forth, and we just can never connect. But we're all still friends, and we all love each other, and we all know we're busy, and everybody cuts everybody slack, and it's pretty cool. So, okay, back to this live stream. I just got on to say hi because actually I was kind of bored. I worked on podcasts all day today, which is a rare occurrence because I usually have the early morning or maybe a break between jobs, or when I'm looking for information, waiting on information from a customer, I'll jump in and do a podcast real quick. And but today I didn't have anything to do but podcasts, and I finished one and uploaded it today, and I got another one ready, and it's scheduled to publish Thursday, and it's got couple of really good. It's got one awesome ghost story in it. Oh man, is it good? And it's got a Bigfoot story. So, and then it's got it's got two Bigfoot stories. One of them is kind of anecdotal. The other one is like they actually deal with Bigfoot. And the last story is a ghost story that I thought was fantastic. And and I'll say this for folks out there who are Carrie and Mark are pretty much zeroed in on Bigfoot. I don't know how they feel about Dogman. I don't think they really care that much about it. But I'm into everything. I like Bigfoot. I like Dogman. I like UFOs, ghost stories, vampire stories, zombie stories. I don't care what it is. If it's a good story and you want to send it to dixiecryptid@gmail.com. And I've got tons and tons of Bigfoot stories in the backlog that I'm getting to, you know, one by one at a time. I've got some that go back to, I think I'm almost through 2019. And but I've got some still left in 2019, and I'm going to get to all of them if they're readable. I'm going to get to all of them. And but if you like if you've had some kind of encounter with a y'all, I'm getting hot. I'm gonna have to turn on my AC. Look, I got a remote for my air conditioner. How ya cat? Yeah, it's starting to get cool all of a sudden. But yeah, I love stories about dogmen. Anything you can think of. Connor Flynn, we've been dropping some audio clips of his that he made. He just did them for me. We met in Gatlinburg, and I said, "Hey, if you ever, you're always filming stuff. If you ever just, dictate stuff into a phone, send it to me, and I'll put it." He sent me like 20 audio files. A couple of them are like 20 minutes long. They're just story after story after story. I don't know if he's reading them or what. And I kind of clean them up and put them in the podcast, and they're good. Bigfoot Anon is his channel. I'm curious. I'm tired of talking about me. I want to know about you guys, and you can Leanne says I need a remote for that zero turn. I have a remote for that. It's my old lady, April. April's my zero turn bad boy remote. And she cut grass like 3 days ago, and it's rained so much it needs cutting again. I've never seen grass grow this way in August. Usually in August, grass kind of starts to turn blue. You know what I mean? It's not that fresh spring in May and June and halfway into July green. It starts kind of turning blue and drying up. And so by the end of September, October, it's just brown. But what was I saying? Okay. I want to ask y'all, are there any YouTube channels, specifically YouTube channels, or it could be a podcast, that you guys listen to religiously? Not this one. I'm not asking about Dixie Cryptid or What If It's True. Are there other podcasts or YouTube channels that you guys listen to? It's like the minute it comes out, you click on it and you shut everything else and you just watch that video, whether it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm just curious. Can y'all throw up in the comments any YouTube channels? I'm going to tell you one that I got hooked on here in a minute that I absolutely love, and I bet none of y'all have heard of it. But okay, let's see. Mr. Ballin, Sasquatch Chronicles, Vault of Nightmares. I'm just going to read these off for people who aren't really watching the comment section. Nighthawk High Strangeness Podcast, Mr. Ballin, Nance and Leslie. That's Cryptids Canada and Buckeye Bigfoot. Sasquatch Theory. I haven't seen that one. David Pilates Can-Am. Beast TV. That's Mark Newell and Larry Porch. And then there's Beast of the Woods, which is Larry Porch. And somebody said just you, Cam. Well, thank you. That's so nice of you to say that. Bigfoot Odyssey, Buckeye Bigfoot. Beast of the Woods, Sawdust Beast, says Leanne. Sasquatch Theory. Okay. Mr. Ballin is great. I listened to Marfugal News. Now, I've not heard of that one. Village Life Vlog and Celebrating Appalachia. That sounds good. I wonder if that's one of those homesteading channels. Glenn Miller says there is no channel that gets that much attention from him. Well, that used to be the way it is for me. I'm not saying I don't listen to some of the people that do what I do. I listen to them, Neoma and Nance and Leslie, but I have to be. If I listen to them all the time, I would never get anything done. I have to be working all the time. Oh, there's Nance right there. Why, thank you, folks, is what she says. Bedtime Stories. Sasquatch Chronicles, Storytelling Imperfectly. I wonder if that's not a channel, is it, Connor? There's Connor, Bigfoot Anon. He's in the chat area. Donovan Dread. I've heard that one. That's good. Slapped Ham, is that a channel? Oh, let's see. Cryptid Canada, Sasquatch Theory, How to Hunt, Buckeye Bigfoot Experience. I love how you get excited over all these stories. Don't ever stop reading. I do get excited about them, especially when it's a good one. And I get real excited about this ghost story that's coming up in Thursday. It's a video that's going to launch Thursday, I think at 10 in the morning. Need to do some Mississippi investigation. Let's see. Slapped Ham. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all about a channel, and it has nothing to do with crypt. Y'all know I ride motorcycles, and so I'll watch a lot of motorcycle stuff. Who has seen Itchy Boots? Have y'all seen a channel called Itchy Boots? It's a channel by one young woman from Norway or the Netherlands. She's Dutch. Her name is Nora Lee, and she travels all over the world on a motorcycle, all by herself. She's been to Africa, all across Asia, all across Europe. And her latest season, she started down in Patagonia, and she worked her way all the way up to, I want to say Colombia, maybe. When COVID hit, she had to go home for a year. She came back, picked up where she left off, went up through northern South America, Central America, and she's now in the United States. And I've been watching YouTube for 10 years, and it is the only channel I have ever come across that I do not miss a single episode. And it's one of the only ones that I have notifications on. There's something about it. Itchy Boots. Y'all can look it up. Her name is Nora Lee, and she's a pretty little girl, and she is not scared of anything. She just rides all over the place. I think in the last 3 or 4 videos, she had a wreck on her motorcycle somewhere in New Mexico or Nevada, and she sprained her ankle. She had to get a friend come get her and drove her up. And then next thing you know, she's riding around in Moab. Now she's in Colorado and riding all these mountain passes and stuff. Anyway, enough about that. Every time I see one of her videos, I get excited, and she's a real nice place. And people are always asking her, you travel all this way by yourself? You don't have a man? And she goes, I don't have time for a man. You can't travel all these places with a man in your life. And I know what she's talking about. She can't do what she wants to do. Man, the comments have gotten away from me here. Let's see. Well, Stephanie says it shouldn't matter if she's pretty or not. Well, it doesn't matter, but she is a pretty little girl. So let's see. What kind of bike do you prefer? Scott, are you talking about a bicycle or motorcycle? Because I ride bikes and motorcycles. If you're talking about bikes, I have 2 Surleys. I have a Surly Ogre and I have a Surly Wednesday. It's a fat bike. And it is, I just ride them around here. Sometimes I'll load them up in the truck and do some of these rails to trails things. And, but motorcycles, I have motorcycle, he says. I have a Kawasaki KLR 650, which is just a little tank. It's a tank thumper, and I love that bike. It's just a great bike for these farm roads and gravel roads around here. But this year I bought a Triumph Tiger 1200. It's a Rally Pro model, and man, I love that bike. I absolutely love that bike. All up until when I first started buying bikes, I bought Japanese bikes, Hondas, and then after a couple of those, after I think 3 of those, within 1 year, I was buying bikes and trading them and selling them and buying more. And I got into Harleys, and I owned like 3 Harleys over about a 3 or 4 year period. And then a buddy of mine borrowed. My last Harley was a are you guys getting bored with this? I know this is stupid, but I'm just going to tell the story. So the last bike I had was a Dyna Wide Glide, and I can't remember what year it was. It's like maybe a 98 or 99. I bought it new. It was this really weird purple and gray color. So I rode that bike for maybe 8 months. A buddy of mine called. I had just gotten off work, and a buddy of mine called me, and he goes, "Hey man, my bike is in the shop. Can I borrow your bike? We're going on a poker run tonight. Whatever a poker run is." I never went on those rides, group rides with those people. I said, "Yeah, come get it." So he came and got my Harley. I wasn't at home. I was still at work. It was about 6 o'clock on a Friday night, and so he came by and he got my bike. He got into my garage. I gave him the code to get in my garage. He got my bike and he left. Well, I got home about 8, and it was in the late summer. I think it was late summer. It was still light till 8:30 at night, 8 o'clock at night. So I was tired. My family was out of town. So I just laid down on the couch. And we had cats back then. We had 2 cats. And these 2, if I ever laid down, the cats would just lay right on top of me. So I'm laying there and I'm just petting these cats and I'm dozing off. And my phone rings, my cell phone rings, and it's my buddy. And he says, "Man, I need you to come pick up this bike." I said, "Why? Why do I need to come pick up the bike?" He goes, "I wrecked it." And I'm like, "Oh, hell no." I thought he was messing with me, but no, he hadn't. He had come around a curve and there was some gravel up on the side of the road, and he hit that gravel, and that front and rear wheel went off the ledge with him on the bike. And luckily he wasn't hurt, but that bike hit 4 or 5 trees going down through there. So I had State Farm insurance. So we got that bike pulled out. State Farm made me a really good settlement on that bike. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get the biggest, baddest bike I can find. And there used to be a company down, I think they were in Dallas, Texas, called American Iron Horse. And they made 2 or 3 really cool bikes, but one of them was called a Texas Chopper. And I ordered a Texas Chopper. And I got that bike in. And I think it had a 109 S&S on it. And I had it painted this real deep green base, and it had these orange and green flames all over the tank. And it was chopped. It just had this big, I want to say a 240 millimeter tire. It was a real wide tire, and had these rims on it that looked like gladiator swords and stuff, chromed out and everything. It's a really cool looking bike. And I rode that bike for about a year. And then for some reason, I just sold it. I just got rid of it. And so it's been like, I don't know, it was like 10 or 12 years. And I just didn't even think about riding. Then I picked up this KLR and I remembered how much I loved riding. And then this year I bought that Triumph, and I'm wanting to get on that bike and go to the West Coast on it. Maybe this fall. I just want to go somewhere on it. And this is a totally different bike than a Harley. And a Harley, they sit low. That everything is different about these bikes from Harleys. And I like these bikes more. I like these they call them adventure bikes, but I'm not going to do any kind of I'm not getting off-road on this Triumph. But and it is made kind of sort of for off-road, but I might get it on some gravel if I have to, but it's going to stay on the blacktop. But a Harley, you kind of sit down in a hole and you're reaching up to your handlebars. And these bikes are touring type bikes, and you sit way up high on them. Matter of fact, this Triumph, I probably need the seat it's got 2 seat positions. I probably need it in a lower seat position, but I keep it in the high position, which means I can barely touch the ground, just my tippy toes, just to hold the bike up. So if I ever stop and it's uneven, or there's a drain over here and I lean over to hit the ground with that, I'm going to drop that bike. I know I will. But it weighs about 500 pounds too. Now Harleys normally weigh 6, 7, 800 pounds, depending on which one you have. I think my dyno was probably 650 pounds, but this is a 550 pound bike, and you can pick it back up. But you sit up high, and the reason I have the seat up high is because when I'm sitting and my feet are in the pegs, I don't like my legs up under me. So this allows me to stretch my legs out a little bit. So I ride it in the high position. And riding in that upright position, you know, where you're just reaching straight out for the handlebars instead of up, you know, sitting back in a Harley like this, you're up over the top of the bike. It handles better. It corners better. It's more comfortable. I could ride that bike for, I usually stop about every 150 miles and get off and get a Gatorade, or if I'm on a trip on it. But anyway, that's get me talking about motorcycles, and I'll go. I haven't even been watching the comments for. We've been on for an hour and almost hour and 15 minutes. I'm gonna get out of here in a minute, but Leslie, you would never be able to get on this bike. It is. You must be pretty short because. And honestly, this Triumph. Before this 1200, I had a 900, and it is. It was kind of hard to get on, but these 1200s are they're just big bikes. They're just they're just big, heavy bikes, but they're pretty fast. And this one has cruise control, which I love. I absolutely love it. And you have to be at least 5'11", to get on these things and be able to put your feet down. But there's a lot of guys that ride these bikes that are tall, and they can't put both feet on the ground, but they've mastered how to just lean it on one side and then get the bike upright and keep going. If you want to ride bad enough, you'll figure all that out. That's the truth. And it's kind of like that for everything in the world. If you really want to do it bad enough, you'll figure out a way. All right. I am just talking about nothing. Wheels Through Time Museum. All right, I'm going to give, we've been on for an hour and 13 minutes. I'll stay on for 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to sign off. Then I'll play this music I had playing again to kind of let us get out of here. Yeah, Johnny, I've watched C90 Adventure. You know, that guy's got a problem. He loves taking off his pants and showing everybody his ass, and that there's just something about that just turns me off. I mean, like almost every video, you see him without his pants on and his ass up against the camera. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. What is that when people like to do that? Is that you call that an exhibitionist? I don't know what it is, but and he is actually the one who went to get Itchy Boots, Nora Lee. He's the one who he drove 400 miles to pick her up. So he is a hero to her. But that C90 Adventures is, I just watched a couple of videos, and there he was with his ass up, you know, facing the camera, no pants on. And I'm like, I'm not interested in seeing this. This is not something I really want to watch. Let's see. PW Rogers 47. You did miss the update, and I've given the update 20 times in other videos and stuff like that. Steve Lilly's getting his own podcast, and I hope to have it up by the end of September. And after that, I'll be doing at least 2 Steve Lillys a month. But I have a big pile of work I've got to get out of the way before I go full speed into Steve Lilly. So, but I'm glad you asked, and I'm glad you like it. And I'm glad all of you guys like Steve Lilly. Some people don't like Steve Lilly. You know, the real religious Bigfoot people, they don't like Steve Lilly. They don't think you should write. They don't think you should have fun with Bigfoot. Let's see here. All right, I'm not seeing any questions. I guess we'll end with this music. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions. The music is playing. Some good old music. I think it's over. I think it's going to loop back. But there it goes. All right, you guys have a good rest of your week. I've got a new podcast coming up this Thursday and maybe Friday. But let's see. Yeah, I've got one scheduled for Thursday, and I'm going to try to get one done tomorrow for Friday. So thank you for joining me on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Or this live stream. Some guy got in the comment section and said, "Would you quit calling it a podcast? Why do you call it a podcast 50 times every time you get on in a video?" And I'm like, what would you rather me call it? And he goes, "Well, call it a show or something. Be a little bit original." And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right. Well, just calm down. We'll call it a show. We'll call it a show." Thanks for joining me on this live show. And I appreciate you guys. I love every one of you. And maybe we'll do another live feed in 6 months or so. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to you see you on the next podcast. Thanks.